How often do you hear a local government official, someone on television, a weather personality tell you that you should have a plan? Make sure that you have a plan ready to go for this event. What does that mean? What does it mean to have a plan? What does it mean to make a plan? What's even in a plan? My name is Greg Godecker. I'm the Emergency Management Coordinator for the City of Katy. And this webinar is designed to help you make a plan, to make it simpler, to help walk you through the processes and the steps of making a plan. These are the key steps in making an emergency plan. Step one, there's going to be a few questions that we'll discuss to help provide an outline of making your plan. Step two, you're considering the specific needs in your household. Every household's different. Every household's going to have different needs. You have to consider those things. Step three, filling out your family emergency plan. We'll go through the process of filling one out. Step four, practice. It's always important to practice your plan with your family so that everybody knows what to do and how to do it. Step one, these are the questions that will help guide you to the answers that you need to filling out your emergency plan. How will you receive emergency alerts and warnings? How will you know what's going on? How will you know what to do? What is your shelter plan? What is your evacuation route? Where are you going to go if you have to leave your house? How will you communicate with your family? And do I need to update my emergency preparedness kit? Answer is always yes on the last one. Make sure that you go through your kit at least once a year to update those items that might have expired. These are the different ways that you can receive emergency alerts. The first one there, wireless emergency alerts, or WEAs, are short emergency messages from authorized federal, state, and local public alerting authorities. They're mobile messages that are pushed to your phone. You've seen the National Weather Service push these out for flash flood warnings, tornado warnings, flash flood emergencies. Harris County also used a WEA to push out stay-at-home orders when COVID first happened. Then you have the emergency alert system. If you've ever watched the Weather Channel, you've seen the test on there, a test of the emergency alert system. Maybe you've heard it come across your radio weekly or monthly on there. And then finally, we have ktAlert. That's the City of Katy emergency notification system. And we'll go into the details of that in a little bit. Wireless emergency alerts. They are looked to like text messages because really they are text messages. They're no more than 360 characters. You don't get charged for them. And the reason that they are text messages is because text messages really are more likely to get out during a disaster situation. They won't really disrupt the network as much. Some key points here, if you're not receiving a WEA or you never have before, make sure that you go check the settings on your phone or check with your mobile carrier. How to check the settings on your phone. If you have an Android device, open your Android phone, go to your messages file, go to your settings option, select emergency alert settings, and then you'll be able to see the different ones: extreme alerts, severe alerts, amber alerts, emergency alert test. On the Apple phone, go to your settings, notification, scroll to the bottom of the screen, and then under government alerts, you can turn them on or off. Okay, so ktAlert, the City of Katy notification system. It's an opt-in system, so you get to subscribe to it. We use ktAlert whenever there's a potential safety hazard or a concern to maybe your neighborhood, your home, or the entire city. We also use it to push out informational updates as well too. We used it robustly during the winter storm of 2021 in February. We pushed out our boil water notices, debris pickup information. Those are some of the things that we've used it for in the past. You can sign up for this at www.cityofkaty.com/ktAlert. If you have trouble signing up for it, you can contact my office, and I'm more than willing to help walk you through the process or even get you signed up. We do have some flyers at City Hall, some sheets that you can mail in as well too. Or if you go to the website that's down there at the bottom, like I just mentioned, you can print out the form and then mail it to my office, and we'll make sure that we get you signed up. So if you have any concerns or questions about the system, just go ahead and reach out to me. I'm, again, more than willing to discuss it. One very important piece of information about ktAlert is that the information that you provide when you sign up, it's all kept strictly confidential. It's not sold to any third-party vendor. This is what the screen will look like when you sign up for ktAlert. You'll enter in your first name, your last name, choose a username and a password. If you ever forget those, reach out to my office. We'll help get you a reset password or a new account. Then you'll go to the next screen, which will be your location information. You'll enter your location name. Basically, it's like a nickname for the address. So either your home or your work address. You can do both. You can do a couple, I think up to 5 addresses in there. Then you enter how you want to be contacted. And this is important. So you get to choose how you want to be contacted. Do you just want emails? Do you want phone numbers? Do you want text messages? You can enter in multiple family members, so your daughter, your wife, your father, your parents, whoever you want to receive a notification from the system. You can have multiple ways under this system. These are some of the different alert subscriptions you can sign up for. Emergency notifications is an automatic subscription when you sign up for ktAlert. You're automatically enrolled in that. There are informational updates and city events that you can subscribe to as well too. Then you get to choose if you want weather alerts. There's flood advisory, flood warnings, flash flood watches. You're automatically subscribed to tornado warning. And these different weather alerts are weather alerts that are pushed from the National Weather Service. So, for example, if your home is in the polygon for, let's say, a severe thunderstorm warning, then you would receive that notification for that event. If, let's say, there was a severe thunderstorm warning for Northeast Harris County and your address wasn't in the polygon, you would not receive that alert. So that's one of the benefits of ktAlert because it is address specific. Shelter plans. There's different ways to shelter. There's sheltering in place, and then there's going to a mass care shelter. When you talk about sheltering in place, there's a couple different options or events of where it could take place. There's a severe weather event, maybe a tornado warning, maybe a severe thunderstorm warning, or there is the hazardous material release. In which case, the city of Katy, if we had that happen within our jurisdiction, we would tell you, hey, you need to shelter in place because there's been a release of a potential hazardous, let's say, gas or toxin. And we would like you to turn off your fans, your air conditioning, go into your interior room, make sure that you seal all your windows, those type of things. If it's a severe weather event, that going into your interior room is one of the most important pieces of information. You want to put as many walls between yourself, your family, and the outside. Because those type of events, you're trying to hide from the wind what it may do, right? So you don't want to be near windows. So if you don't really have an interior room, try to find a room that doesn't have windows, and then bring a mattress in with you. Perhaps you go into the bathroom and hide in the shower or the bathtub, and then you can put that mattress over the top of you in case any type of debris falls around you. Always important to bring your emergency supply kits into that shelter in place room that you're going in. There will be items that you may need after the event passes. You may need your batteries. You may need your flashlight. You may need a whistle. You may need a helmet. Those are some of the items that you can have in your emergency supply kit. And again, where it talks about sealing your windows and your doors and turning off your fans, air conditioning, those are the times when there's a hazardous material release. Now, mass care shelters, that's a little bit different than sheltering in place. That's when you're actually going to outside a shelter. Maybe it's provided by a church, maybe it's provided by a nonprofit, the Red Cross, or it is a city designated shelter where we partner with maybe one of those local nonprofits or a church. So these shelters are basically established to provide life sustaining services after a disaster to those survivors, right? So if your home doesn't have, it's not livable, it doesn't have running water, doesn't have power, we may establish a shelter. Now, the city of Katy will do its best to release the information on what shelters are available. If the Red Cross sets up a shelter in our city, we will make sure that that information is posted to the City of Katy website, pushed out through the ktAlert, and on all of our social media streams. There are times when there may be a shelter that pops up that we may not know about. So if you want to let us know that a shelter has been open, feel free to contact us and we'll make sure we'll get our website updated. Some important information when you do go to a mass care shelter is to understand if that shelter is going to be receiving pets. That's a lot of y'all may have pets out there and you want to bring them with you. Sometimes shelters don't open their doors to families that have pets. So again, when we learn that a shelter's been open, that's one of the questions we're going to ask them. Are you receiving pets? And we'll make sure we have that information posted as well too. But it's just something to think about when you're looking and you need shelters. There are warming centers and there's cooling centers as well too. Those are different types of shelter. They don't really provide the life-sustaining services. They're more of a place to go just to get warm or just to get cool. So you may not see the support that you normally get from a Red Cross for a warming center or a cooling center. The last couple bullet points there about the cleaning items and social distancing, those are newer items that the CDC wanted to see added on there because we're still in a pandemic in 2021. We still have the spread of COVID. So those are just some of the things that you may want to think about if you have to go to a mass care shelter. A large congregate setting, you would have your mask and your hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes. During the time of the pandemic, we try to avoid the congregate sheltering, but you can't always avoid it. So those are just some of the different things that you may want to think about. Evacuation. Some of you, not all of you, may know that the city of Katy is not in a hurricane evacuation zone. Right? A lot of the hurricane evacuation zones in our region are down along the coastline. It doesn't extend up into the city of Katy. But there are times when you may have to evacuate your home. The city of Katy, we may reach out to you and say, hey, we need residents of this neighborhood to evacuate because of maybe it's a severe weather event, or maybe it is a hazardous material event, or maybe it is a security type of event. Again, if the city of Katy is asking you to evacuate, we're going to do our very best to make sure that you have the information in a timely manner so that you can get out of harm's way. Before an evacuation, we talked just briefly a moment ago about the different types of disasters that could occur here, the different types of hazards that may cause you to have to evacuate your home. The flooding, severe weather, hazardous materials, those type of things. But there are other instances where you may have to evacuate. Maybe there's a fire in your home and you're not evacuating outside your neighborhood, you're just going outside your home. Plan on how you will leave and where you will go. Again, if we, the city of Katy, ask you to evacuate your home, we'll try to give you information on where you can go for a shelter. But other options you can have are family members, friends that may live outside the city in another jurisdiction, maybe even in another state, where you can go to evacuate should you be asked to leave or if you have to leave. Again, check with local officials about what shelter spaces are available. We will have the most up-to-date information that we can get on shelters that are available within our city, and sometimes even within Harris County, Fort Bend County, and Waller County. Those counties may be offering shelter as well too, and we'll try to get that information out there. When it talks about identifying several places that you can go in an emergency, right, you want to have somewhere you can meet outside your home, somewhere to meet in your neighborhood, outside your neighborhood, outside your city. Those are the different, that's kind of the breakdown of where you want to have your emergency evacuation places broken down by. Be familiar with your alternate routes. Again, a lot of maybe the main routes, if it's a large evacuation, could be congested with traffic. So it's always good to have a backup idea of where you're going to go, maybe a backup roadway. Make sure that you communicate with your family when you are going to evacuate. Let them know that you're coming to stay with them. If you're not coming to stay with them, make sure that you at least let them know that, hey, we're evacuating our home today. We're going to go to such and such location, and we'll let you know when we get there. Bring your go bag with you if you have to evacuate. Having those supplies with you along a route that could be a long evacuation in terms of time and hours, it's a great idea to have that emergency supply kit, that go bag with you, just because there are some things that you may need in there. If you're going to evacuate by car and you do have a car, make sure that you keep it full of gas. That's one of the things you always hear the media talk about during hurricane season, to have your gas filled up. And gas can become one of those commodities that is hard to find before an evacuation, and you may have to wait in long lines. So if you always keep your gas pretty much filled up, at least half a tank, then you're in pretty good shape. If you don't have a car, talk to your neighbors around you. Maybe you can get a ride with them, or maybe somebody from out of town, a family or friend, can come pick you up if you have to evacuate. During an evacuation, you could download the FEMA app so you could see all the local shelters that are available and open. Again, we will be posting shelters on our city website, our social media streams, the ones that are available in our jurisdiction, and providing links to those ones that may be available within the 3 counties that we do sit in. Again, taking your emergency supply kit, we talked about that, why it's important. Leaving early enough to avoid being trapped by severe weather. If we, the city of Katy, issue an evacuation, we want you to get out in a timely manner. We don't want you to get caught in any type of severe weather. So we will make sure that we do our best to get you out. We take that into consideration when we're issuing those evacuations. Now, there are times where it may be short notice. A hazardous material release is one of those type of events where it's a short notice event. We didn't really plan for it, so you have to get out quickly. If it's a severe weather event, you may have a little bit more of a notice. If it's like a Hurricane Harvey type of event with a large amount of rainfall, again, you may have some more notice as well too. Again, your pets, everybody loves their pets and wants to take them with them, and that's everybody is going to take them with them. Nobody's going to leave a pet behind, but if you are going somewhere, you really need to check on where you're going if they will accept pets. That's just a huge thing to keep in the back of your mind. If time allows, make sure that you contact those people that are out of state, your family members, your friends, to let them know where you're going. Secure your home before you leave. Make sure everything's locked and closed. All your windows are closed. Check your yard, around your yard. Make sure everything's kind of picked up. Clean up before you go. Unplug all of your electrical equipment, such as radios, televisions, your small appliances. You try to take that food with you if you can. I know people don't want to lose a lot of food, and that's one of the things that happens maybe after a severe weather incident with a long duration of being without power. Your food may spoil. Shutting off your water, your gas, electricity before you're leaving. That way, the reason you're doing that is to protect your home in case something does happen. Wear sturdy shoes. That would be more in the case of a short-term evacuation with you don't have a lot of notice. And that could be after something does happen. If there was a severe weather incident and it's a short-term evacuation, you may want to just there could be debris around, so that's why they're telling you there to wear sturdy shoes. Again, check with your neighbors who may need a ride. This is a great community to live in. Everybody likes pretty much everyone that is their neighbor. Check with them before the storm. If your family's going to evacuate, let them know that, hey, we're going to leave. Do you need a ride? And if they do, try to accommodate them. After an evacuation, if the city of Katy issues an evacuation, we're going to let you know when it's safe to return to your home. We don't want you coming back beforehand because there could be potential hazards and risks that could impact your safety, and we don't want you to get hurt. Let your friends know when you're going to head back in, and when you arrive, make sure that you charge all your devices once you leave and you come back. You might not have power when you come back. You also want to make sure that you fill up your gas tank. Have a full tank of gas as you come back, because there may be gas stations around that have shortages, and gas may be a commodity that you can't get once you come back into Katy. That's why it's another good reason to bring supplies such as water, non-perishable foods. Those items may also be in short supply within this area, within this region, if you've evacuated. A huge point: if you're going to use a generator, make sure that is outside and away from your home, and never run it in a generator inside your home or garage. There's been too many deaths for carbon monoxide poisoning, and it's caused by individuals who run a generator inside their home or inside their garage. So that's why we tell you to run it away and outside. Creating your emergency communication plan. There's 3 important steps here. Collect the data, right? All the information, all the important phone numbers. Sharing that information with your family, right? That's a huge thing. That's a huge part of communication is sharing and then practicing once you have everything written down. Let everybody know how you're going to communicate with them and then, practice. An important note there, we mentioned it earlier with WIAs being able to go through as text. So during a disaster situation, it's better for you to text your family and friends maybe during those first 12 to 24 hours instead of trying to phone them. Maybe just say, hey, we're okay. We're just going to text you for a short time until maybe later on when we can call you. That way you can ensure that your message will get out to them and you're not met with a busy signal trying to get out. What information are you going to be collecting? Your household information, your immediate family, their numbers, and how to contact them. The schools, the child care, caregivers, workplace emergency plans, and their emergency contact numbers. Your out of town contact, whether it's your family or friends, collecting the information about your emergency meeting places, where you're going to meet inside your home, where you're going to meet directly outside your home, like if it is like a fire type of situation, somewhere to meet outside your neighborhood, somewhere to meet outside your town or city. Those are the breakdown of the different emergency meeting places. And then collecting those other important numbers and information, your utility providers, emergency services, medical providers, veterinarians, insurance companies. Write all that information down. Once you've written it all down, again, share the information. Make sure that your family has copies of it. Make sure that your son, your daughter, your wife, your parents, make sure they all have a copy of it, and then post it in your home as well too. You want to make sure that all the information is entered into your family members, their phones and their devices. You want to make sure that you have at least one ICE contact in case of an emergency in that phone. For example, my wife has ICE next to my name and her phone. That's just a good practice. Create a group list. A lot of us have group text messages going around or have it on the Facebook Messenger app where we have group messages. Have those created. Um, Make sure that everybody knows how to text and how to text you, or have alternative ways to communicate if they can't text. And then again, know the alerts and warnings and sign up to receive the emergency information. We're going to tell you what we know and what we need you to be doing during an emergency situation and get that out to you in a timely manner. So being able to be subscribed to those different emergency alerts is very important. Step 2, considering the specific needs in your household. We talked about it, about every family is different, right? Some of you may have small children, some of you may have, grown children, some of you may have your elderly family members living with you, your parents, maybe you have a large household where you have multiple families living with you. It's important to consider all those things, the medical needs, prescriptions, if you have disabilities or functional needs, what devices do you need? Do you need wheelchairs? Do you need walkers? The languages, sometimes those are barriers, religious considerations, your pets. All those different things are important factors when creating your emergency plan. Because, right, you have to think about what each individual needs after a disaster and how can you best make them feel comfortable when something does happen. And I say that because I know that it's not going to be comfortable after a disaster, right? Nothing isn't. You just went through a horrible situation or an incident and you're like, how can this guy be telling me to be comfortable? Well, I say that because you're trying to do the best that you can, right? And if you focus on doing what you can to be comfortable you're at least setting a goal that may be realistic for you. So you're not overextending yourself. Finally, we get to step 3 and filling out your family emergency plan. So, what are you going to be filling out? On ready.gov, they have these emergency cards, these contact cards already ready to go. So you can either print them out or you can fill they're fillable PDFs. And so you have your family emergency communication plan here with your household information, your home number, your address, the name of the individuals that live there, social media, how to contact them there. Then you have social or your school, your child care, caregiver, workplace emergency plans. Again, you print that out, fill all that information, your ICE in case of emergency contact, out of town contact. And again, you can go to ready.gov/plan and print out this plan and fill it out. Continuing on, your emergency meeting places, indoor, and even write out the instructions, right? Say that you're going to go this direction, down these stairs for this event, right? And you need to make sure that you text such and such once you're leaving, right? Write all the instructions out. It's important because then you can discuss it and you think about the plan in your head and how it's going to play out. And sometimes by writing it out and then you go practice it, you realize that's not exactly going to work. And I need to do it differently, how I originally thought. So then you can come back and make the edits. Fill out those important numbers or information, police, fire, poison control, your doctors. Again, go through the list, fill it all out. It's a great idea to have all these numbers written out. Finally, step 4 is practicing the plan with your family. And we said it's important, and it is important. The plan itself shouldn't just collect dust on your shelf, the communications plan, all the stuff you work on. You want to make sure that it actually works, right? So you practice texting and calling. You discuss what information should be sent by text. These are the information we're going to provide family members that want to know how we're doing in the first 12 hours. We're just going to keep it pretty basic. We're going to choose one individual who's going to send out information. So everybody's not trying to do it. It's just one family member. We're going to practice going to those meeting locations. We're going to have conversations with our household members and our friends about, hey, we have this emergency plan if something happens, and this is exactly kind of what we're going to do. What do you think about it? And it may lead them to create their own plan. Hey, such and such has a plan. Why don't we have one? Challenging your household members to recite important phone numbers from memory. How many of us rely solely on our mobile devices to house the contact information? Do you remember your wife's phone number? Do you remember your parents' phone number? That's why we say write this stuff down, because if your phone dies and you need to contact somebody and you don't have it written down, are you going to remember it? Probably not. But there are a lot of you out there that do have a sharp memory still, so you might be able to remember a few phone numbers. I remember my wife's number. I still remember my parents' number. But it's a fun thing to challenge your household members to try and recite it. Make sure that your children, make sure that everyone, including your children, know how to dial 911 for help. We all know how important that is. And then again, we're talking about it right now. Review, updates, and practice your communication plans. Right? So why do you update it? Because every once in a while, somebody will change their phone numbers and their information and may move. So that's why it's important to look at it at least once a year. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, feel free to reach out for us. Whether it's help in putting together this plan for your family, whether it's help in signing up for ktAlert, whether it's help in understanding of, how do I prepare for a certain event, reach out to us. More than willing to talk to you at any time. If there's something you want us to do better, again, same thing, reach out. If you want to see more information pushed from ktAlert, or if you want to see it used a different way, again, let us know. We're here to help you guys. We're here to help the community be better prepared, right? So we want to know what we're not doing well and what we are doing well. It's important to get better, and we strive on doing that. I hope that you have learned something from this webinar. I hope that you sit down with your family and create a emergency plan. Maybe you don't do everything we talked about today, but maybe you start working on a few of the items. Every little bit helps, and it's important. These things are important because it's not if, but when something bad may happen to this community, to your family, and that's why we take the time to prepare. So again, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our phone number is 281-574-8633. Our email address, oem@cityofkaty.com. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. There's our website down at the bottom. I know it's long to type in. There's a lot of great preparedness information on the city website as well too. And then how to sign up for ktAlert is on there. So again, thank you everybody, and stay safe, Katy.